Hey, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Scabbard as we take a look at tonight's game against the Arizona Coyotes. We also talked about last night's game against the Vegas Golden Knights. I said it last night that I wouldn't be surprised if Sabres come out and beat the Vegas Golden Knights. It seems they have a stinker, then they come back and the next game they have an overpowered opponent, and everyone's thinking they're going to lose, and they play a terrific game. And then it may last a game or two, but then they sink back into these bad habits. So um, I don't know what to think about this team. You know we see that they can perform well against really good teams, and then we see them drop a game like and Colorado's a very good team. Let's not kid ourselves. But for the first period of that game, it felt like the teams were playing at different speeds. The Colorado Avalanche had, if you play NHL 24, they get slaughters set all the way to make them the fastest team, and the Sabres were just god awful. I mean, that first period was awful, and it felt like they were playing at two different speeds. It felt like Colorado had more players on the ice the entire first period. Then last night they played a really good defensive game. They clogged the middle. They had active sticks. They knocked the puck off the Vegas Golden Knights sticks quite a bit. They intercepted a ton of passes. It was a it's a game that if you told me at the beginning of the season this is a game that we play against the Vegas Golden Knights, I'd be like, yeah, I expect that. If you're taking the next step as a team, that this is the kind of game that you play against Vegas on the road, and the energy and the passion that you show. Um, but we haven't seen that enough this season, and especially against teams that they should be beating, they have not shown this enough. So let's talk about the Vegas game. They were competitive early. Um, they skated really well with the Vegas Golden Knights, and it took a long time for them to pot the first goal. But it was Dylan Cousins on a incendiary shift where he knocks Keegan Colasar down by the boards, takes the puck, passes it up, gets in position in the slot, and fires a shot home, and beats Logan Thompson, and it's 1-0. Um, and the Sabres were full value for it. Now they did give up a power play goal later in the second period to make it 1-1 going into the third. Jack Eichel, like, damn, dude, like he's always scoring against us. And he gets up for this game. As much he could win 5 Stanley Cups, and this game will still mean a lot to him just because of how things ended in Buffalo, and how he was treated when he first came back from with the Vegas Golden Knights. This game will mean something to him, and he got the goal. He had been stymied all night by Devin Levi. Levi made several really good saves on not only shots from Eichel, but passes that he made into the slot that were really good goals, scoring chances. And he finally gets a scramble play. The puck just finds a stick in the slot, and Levi really had no chance on that play. It was kind of a busted play, and Eichel was there for the loose puck and beats Levi. Um, and after watching the game on Wednesday, I can't bother anybody if they felt like that was kind of the death knell for that game, and that Vegas would eventually, score a couple more goals and skate off to an easy victory. Great response by the Sabres. Middlestat roofs a shot from a tough angle, and then Zach Benson intercepts a pass and scores a beautiful goal down low. Gets it to the forehand backhand, intercepts another pass, gets the pass over to Alex Tuck, which just like Eichel, Alex has these games circled because that was the Vegas Golden Knights were his former team, and he was part of that Eichel trade. So he gets the goal. He has a goal and an assist in the game. That was really good game for Alex Tuck, his best since he's come back from his injury. Peyton Krebs played a phenomenal game as well. He did get tagged with the penalty to against Jack Eichel. when Eichel hit Owen Power along the boards. Love the response. That's exactly the response I would have wanted to see when Jeff Skinner got hit yet on Wednesday night. That you didn't have to drop the gloves, but you had to make them feel uncomfortable, and that's what they did. And I loved Peyton Krebs's response after the game. They asked him, about that, and he's like, "Well, Eichel didn't want that." So, um, you know, uh, I'm sure Eichel will be fired up when he comes back to Buffalo. But good victory all in all for the Buffalo Sabres. It's hard to get excited for it though because we've seen this. We've seen this pattern where they play a really good team really well, get the victory, and then it's not long before they fall back into bad habits. So tonight they have a chance to build on a really good game. And can they do that? Our stat of the night, uh, Devin Levi got 33 or 35 shots in a 5-2 victory over the Vegas Golden Knights. A great night for Devin Levi. Has been stellar since his return from Rochester. I think he only got in like 1 or 2 games down in Rochester before UPL got sick. Tonight, I believe we're getting UPL as the starter. This is actually a big start for UPL because he really put a stamp on the crease with that Rangers game and had played really well all season. Um, had a difficult night, and it was really a team defense night that really let him down in that St. Louis game. And then he was sick, and apparently lost some weight. Did not look good in the Colorado game, but then nobody looked good in the Colorado game. It was hard to hang that on UPL. I thought he kept the Sabres in the game in that second period before a couple of late goals. But it's a big game for him because I think Levi is kind of put in there that maybe this is that momentary sent down to Rochester kind of straightened him out a little bit and had him reevaluate his game. I'm still of the mind that perhaps Levi will do better if he gets some time down in the AHL as the number 1 goaltender. But if he wants to continue putting stellar numbers up for the Sabres, then keep him up, and then we'll reevaluate later in the season. Again, he's so young and so early into his contract. Sending him down is not going to cost us anything. It was like UPL last season. Sending UPL down, even for as a paper transaction, didn't hurt anything because he doesn't have to go through waivers or anything like that. So just some options to think about. The problem is Eric Comrie has been awful this season. And a lot of times Comrie's come in when the defense has really decided to take a night off. So, but at 1-5 on the season, Devin Levi or Eric Comrie has he's got a ways to go before he comes back and can claim some minutes in the Sabres crease. All right, let's talk about our opponent tonight, the Arizona Coyotes. We played them on Monday. They are 13-2 and 5th in the Central Division. They won 1-0 over San Jose last night, but had lost 4 in a row prior to, and that was including a 5-2 loss in Buffalo on Monday. And as I mentioned, and Carcone leads the team in goals, with Clayton Keller leading in assists and points. Connor Ingram is their go-to guy. We did not see him in the game on Monday. I believe we're getting him tonight, even though he played last night. Hard to send a guy to the bench who got a 1-0 shutout last night, and has been relatively hot. I mentioned when we played them last time, they had gone through a stretch of 5 consecutive games against the last 5 Stanley Cup champions, and they won all 5 of those games. Some at home, some on the road. And but then they followed it up by losing 4 in a row, including one of the Buffalo games. And that's the mark of a young team. But this is a good squad. I've watched them. They're a sound team. And when we played them in Buffalo, I think they got let down by the goaltending. I think Vejmelka didn't have the best night, and but they skated well. So again, this is a dangerous team that we need to be aware of and play with as much intensity as we did on Monday night, as we did last night. Um, but there are several key factors going into this game because it is a back-to-back. Both teams are on a back-to-back, but Buffalo has traveled into into Arizona to take on the Coyotes into Phoenix. So the Yotes lineup looks like this. We got Clayton Keller, Alex Kerfoot, Nick Schmaltz on the first line, Michelli, Bugstad, and Kraus on the second line, Carconi, Cooley, and Zucker on the third line. Noting that the top goal scorer is on the third line, so it's a dangerous line along with the young phenom Logan Cooley. That's a pretty good line. And then Jason Zucker, former Minnesota Wild, has played around Pittsburgh and a couple of different stops, but competent veteran. Then you got O'Brien, McBain, and Zach Sanford coming up and playing tonight for the Arizona Coyotes. These lines are per the daily face-off. There wasn't a whole lot. There wasn't a morning skate or anything that really gave us any indication on who's playing tonight. This is pretty much the lineup they had last night. So there may be some changes. Let's see the defensive pairings. We got Moser and Dumba, Yusuf Alamaki and Troy Stetcher, and Travis Dermott and Kesselring, who got one of the goals against the Buffalo Sabres. His first NHL goal. And it feels like a lot of NHL rookies are getting their first goals against the Buffalo Sabres. Kesselring, there was a guy in the Colorado game who got his first goal, first NHL goal. So, I don't know. Well, look out for the rookies, I guess. It's a good time for those rookies when the Sabres come to town. The goaltending lineup is Ingram. I think we've gotten the word that Ingram's going to start over Vejmelka, which makes sense since Vejmelka lost to the Sabres earlier this week. And Connor Ingram is on a shutout, well, at least has an active shutout streak going. Scratches for the Yotes, Barrett Hayton, Kolyachnikov. Wait a minute. Let's start that name. Kolyachonok on the IR. Travis Boyd and Sean Dursey. Dursey may draw back into the lineup. Last I saw there was a question of whether he was going to be in the lineup tonight. He's been missing. He missed the Buffalo game, missed a couple games. He may be ready to get back into the lineup tonight. So look out for that. And I'll put if you want to send any questions or comments, please feel free. Appreciate any comments or questions that I get. And I'll open up the chat line here so that people can drop their chats into the main show, and I'll answer them as they come on. So, all right, let's talk about the Sabres lines tonight. We have not heard anything, so we're going off of what was happening last night, which is Benson, Thompson, Tuck on that first line. Middlestat had a phenomenal game, along with Cousins, who got the monkey off his back with J.J. Peterka. Then the third line, Murray, Jost, Olofsson. Murray took a penalty. There wasn't a whole lot from that line last night. Jost was a little bit noticeable. I didn't really notice Olofsson all that much. Murray was a little bit noticeable. Jost was somewhat noticeable. That fourth line of Robinson, Krebs, and Okposo. Krebs had a great game. Did not get on the score sheet, but he did. He was stirring the drink. He was flying in that game, and keep going, brother. Keep rolling. Don't just do it against the Vegas Golden Knights. Keep rolling. Keep the offense on their toe, the opposing team's defense on their toes. So, but Krebs, Okposo, and Robinson on that fourth line. Our defense pairings, again, no word on any changes. So Dahlin, Samuelson, Power, Yoki Haru, Ryan Johnson, Connor Clifton. I thought Ryan Johnson played a good game last night, so I don't see why you would pull him out of the lineup. Just give Eric Johnson. I mean, Eric Johnson is the oldest guy on the team. Give him a couple nights to, a difficult Western road trip to, recharge the batteries and get ready to come back when we play Columbus on Tuesday. Sabres goaltenders, looks like UPL is going to be the goaltender tonight with Devin Levi taking the reins last night. Again, I say it's a big start for UPL. Will go a long way to having him reclaim kind of the crease off of his illness and a couple of tough starts here, especially that Colorado one. Sabres scratches tonight. We've got Greenway still day to day. Bryson, healthy scratch. Gergenson's IR. Quinn on long-term IR and Skinner on IR as well. But Quinn is getting close. I would just change that. Quinn is close to day to day, I would say, at this point. I don't know if they're going to send him down to Rochester for a conditioning stint or not. Tonight's lines per DraftKings: play responsibly, play responsibly. As usual, Buffalo is a 1.5 underdog on the road, and that over-under is 6.5. That's what I got this afternoon when I was doing the notes for tonight's game. This just doesn't seem to change for Buffalo. Every once in a while, like when they played Monday night, they were the 1.5 favorites against Arizona. So take that for what it's worth. Buffalo played really well in Arizona last season. It took a long time for them to score in that game. But they finally did and ended up getting the victory there. So, I don't know if I take the 1.5 though. Well, no, I would. I guess if I was betting this game, 1.5 is actually pretty attractive for Buffalo. But again, it's hard to bet Buffalo because you don't know from game to game what team you're going to get. Are you going to get the game the team that skates and competes with Vegas and New York and the first time they played Colorado against Boston, or are you going to get the team that crapped the bed against the Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils and the Colorado Avalanche the other night? We don't know. There's no consistency of this team. We're not doing player profiles because we've gone through pretty much everybody on their lineup. So as we add players, if a player gets called up or we trade for a new player, we'll definitely do a player profile for them that night. But nothing in the works right now. So on this date, in 2011, December 16th, 2011, Drew Stafford scored his 100th NHL goal in a 5-4 win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Always love it when they beat the Maple Leafs. So Drew Stafford had a great night that night. There was a couple other ones. There was a Rick Martin hat trick back in the 70s. I think I read on Sabres PR that they're 500 on December 16th. So hopefully they can get a game above 500 on December 16th with a win tonight. On the farm, in fact, we'll check the scores here in a minute, but Amerks are 12-7-2-1 on the season, third in the AHL North. They beat Hartford 4-3 in overtime, as we talked about last night. Poured that score live as Juraj Kulich got the game-tying and game-winning goal. He also got the first goal tonight for the Rochester Americans. They're in the third period, ticking down to about 3 minutes left in the third period. Rochester is tied with the Baby Penguins 1-1. Kulich got the first goal for the Rochester Americans, and Poulin from Alex Nylander got the first goal they got the first goal of the game for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. So 1-1. Kulich's marker was on the power play, assisted by Weissbach and Mersch. And I wonder if that, Mersch is always scoring for the, whether it's goals or helpers. I wonder if he's on the track to eventually maybe earn a call up. This is Kulich's last game before he gets sent to Czechia, or at least to Gothenburg, Sweden, where the teams for the World Juniors are starting to assemble for World Junior Championships that start the day after Christmas. And as we get closer to the Christmas holiday, I think the night we play the Rangers is the last game before the Christmas holiday. I'll do a half-hour preview show of the World Juniors on the multitude of Sabres players playing in that tournament, including Matt Savoy, not Zach Benson, though. He's not being released by the Sabres, and good for the Sabres for doing that. Zach Benson said, don't worry about me. I'm living my best life right now. It was a goal for him to play for Team Canada, but to continue to be playing for the Buffalo Sabres is actually a much greater honor because that means you're an NHL player, and good for Zach doing that. Do another score check. Oh no! Looks like the Penguins just scored. Oh, Alex Nylander got the goal, his ninth of the season, from Rem Pitlick and Xavier Ouellet. So yeah, Alex Nylander's got his mark on this game. Never really got a mark in the NHL, despite several opportunities. Never kind of touched what his brother has done in the NHL. So we'll probably have a score update by the end of this. So it's a little over a minute left in the game. So assuming that the Americans have the goaltender pulled at this point. On to the ECHL. The Icemen are 12-8-2 and third in the ECHL Eastern Conference South Division. They beat Savannah 5-4 on Thursday night, as I reported. You know what? I put this change in and I forgot to hit save. So they beat beat Atlanta 3-2 last night, I believe was the score. They are playing right now against the South Carolina Stingrays at home. At the end of the first period, it is 2-0 South Carolina. Let me just refresh to see. It is now 3-0 with 5:49 left to go in the second period for the South Carolina Stingrays over the Jacksonville Icemen. Look like the Icemen will probably take an L on the evening. Let's see. Yeah, the time is ticking down, and it looks like the Rochester Americans, 5 seconds remaining. Looks like the Rochester Americans will lose 2-1 to the Baby Penguins. Yep, that is a final now. It's 2-1. Wilkes-Barre Scranton takes the victory of 2-1. So, all right. But at least Kulik goes off in style to Europe for the Sabres getting that goal in the game. He's scored the last 3 goals for the Rochester Americans. Hopefully somebody will score while he's gone. I hope the Uri Kulik streak is beaten in the next game. So, but yeah, that's the news tonight. Our road ahead for the next week, we got Columbus. We'll be back in Buffalo on Tuesday night, taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Then on Thursday, we've got the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then Saturday on the 23rd, that is the last game before the 4-day Christmas break. Sabres won't be back in and right around that time there is a trade freeze in the NHL, so don't expect any movement during that time. Yeah, the New York Rangers are in town. That night we'll also do our World Juniors preview of the players that have made their rosters and what to look for when the World Juniors commence on Boxing Day in Gothenburg, Sweden. So our next episode is going to be on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock as we take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus has always played Buffalo tough in Buffalo, so we did pound the hell out of them in Columbus last season with the Tage Thompson 5-goal barrage, but it has always been a tough out with the Columbus Blue Jackets in Buffalo. So hopefully the Sabres will return from a trip and take care of business against a team they should beat. Again, great you're beating Vegas. Great that you're beating Boston. But let's see this effort against a Columbus and blow a team out of the water. Let's do that. But anyway, that is the show tonight. I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate folks on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I did try Instagram today, but there's a process where I can't turn down the sound on the Instagram, so it's blurring. I'm getting both in my earphones, so and an echo because it's like a 5 second delay. So if it's still on, Instagram, hey, welcome. If not, we'll try it again on Tuesday night and see if I can get it to work. Probably have to start it on another computer and then have the sound off on that computer so I can run it on this as well. But I appreciate y'all watching, and we will talk to everybody on Tuesday night. Go Buffalo.